Tennessee has had one of its best years in terms of athletics in the history of the program. We'll break that down now. Hot or cold, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. Which seasons compare? We dive in now.
Where do you stand? Hot or cold? Brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Integrity matters. 50 years in East Tennessee. Cityheatandair.com. On Off the Hook Sports.
All right, Caleb, let's look at this season first of all.
I got a lot more seasons, by the way, that I thought of.
Okay, give us this season, and are you hot or cold that it should be considered among the greatest seasons of all time? You have a baseball team that's going to make the College World Series more than likely. So let's go ahead and say that's the kind of the base minimum of what the baseball team's going to do.
Base minimum.
Yes. You have a Tennessee team that made the college football playoffs. You have two basketball teams that are in the Sweet 16. The Lady Vols softball program is going well. Does this deserve to be in the conversation of best athletics year ever?
It does. And by the way, the Lady Vols softball program, I believe, what's the lady's name? Caroline Pickens. She might be the best player in softball. This year. So
you're gonna say that's hot?
Yeah, I'm hot. I'm hot on this.
That's hot.
I mean, we're not even done with. We're judging these, like, 4 of the 5 major sports we're talking about aren't even done yet. And there's already accomplishments that are just really, really incredible. So I'm hot on this being in the conversation. But it ain't the best, but we'll get to the best.
Okay. The next one up is...
I need to reroute real quick.
Okay, you reorder, because I think you put the best one at the top.
Well, yeah, we'll get to those. But let's go last year. Let's just start last year real quick. Men's basketball won the SEC regular season outright, made the Elite Eight. Baseball won the national title. Football still went 9-4 and finished in the top 25. The Lady Vols made it to the second round.
No.
So football.
I never thought football was a championship contender. That was the issue.
Okay, so cold.
Like, you at least have to be in the conversation, and they were last year. This year, you know what I'm saying? The 2024-25 year.
Yeah.
So I can roll with you on that, but I didn't think they had any chance. And I wouldn't even include 2022, as crazy as that sounds, because the loss at South Carolina was so embarrassing. Listen, the loss against South Carolina in football could offset an Elite Eight run in my mind, because football carries so much of the weight at Tennessee.
Yeah, but that's not fair, because we're going to give 2024-25 like kudos, but 2022-23, the one you're talking about where football lost to South Carolina, they went 11-2 and finished in the top 10. And Dave, you're forgetting, like, that team goes to a college football playoff if it's 12 teams, like it was this past year. And this team this past year does not go to a college football playoff if it's 4 teams, like it was in 2022-23.
But without Hendon Hooker, they're not going to win jack.
So Hendon Hooker was there. I mean, you're talking about, okay, wait, they're not going to win jack. They didn't win jack this year in the college football playoff.
Okay, without Hendon Hooker, I never thought they were championship contenders. I never thought they were championship contenders.
But I don't think you can put 20, like, okay, you're saying 2024-2025 is in the running, but 2022-2023 is not. I don't see how you could draw any distinction between the football programs those 2 years.
Because I thought Tennessee had a significantly better chance to advance this past year than they did without Hendon Hooker or with Joe Milton at the helm.
But, okay, yes, but that's still, like, one, Hendon Hooker was there for most of the season. That was a fluke injury. You kind of have to take the whole season in its conglomerate. Do you think this Tennessee team this past year beats that 2022 Alabama team?
Again, end of the season is when you have the playoffs.
Yes, but you got it with football. You, particularly in a 14 playoff, you have to judge the whole season in a conglomerate. You can't just go straight by the playoffs.
Okay, I am. Daniel says
this is the problem. This is why college football is going to die, because people like Dave gave up the regular season.
Overall, no, I'm talking about the regular season at South Carolina.
You're saying yes, but no, you're saying I don't think they would have done anything in the playoffs without Hendon Hooker, as if the win over Alabama doesn't count for anything that year.
No, not really. Daniel says overall last 2 years, best all around sports in my 42 years. That's pretty strong. All right. Now,
Nathaniel Kim in South Carolina cheated.
Yeah, somebody's ripping me. What's ridiculous, Elijah? Help me with that, because I'm not sure what that is. Hot or
cold?
Cold?
That you're putting the 2024 football team on a pedestal above the 2022 football team.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that. Listen, if Dylan Sampson doesn't get hurt and that's a gut punch to Tennessee as one of their leaders, do you not think that they're in that game?
See, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. In 2024, you're defending Tennessee to say if Dylan Sampson doesn't get hurt. But then in 2022, you're saying I can't count Tennessee because Hendon Hooker got hurt. Well, which one is it? Well, why can't I say if Hendon Hooker got hurt?
I'm not talking out of both sides of my mouth because here's what happens. You roll into those 2022 playoffs if you make it, if it's a 12-team playoff. And I think without Hendon Hooker, you have zero chance to advance. Now, what happened during a game is different. I thought Tennessee had a chance to advance, making the college football playoff. And you have to give me this. The publicity, even though it was a different format, makes the 2024 season more successful than 2022, just to getting the publicity for the program.
I don't know if I can go there. I think honestly, and I bet if I did a poll question, what was a better year, 2022 or 2024? I bet most of our people would say 2022. You want to bet?
Okay, here's where Elijah thinks I'm crazy, and I want to address that. And maybe it was a little strong. Can I change it up, Elijah, and see if you agree with me? Saying that one loss in football takes away from an entire season of an Elite Eight run and winning the SEC regular season title in basketball. Can I change it to this? A Sweet 16 run. So would you rather have the South Carolina win if you could go back and rewrite history, or would you rather have a Sweet 16 run?
And for the record, they did have a Sweet 16 run that year, and they got bounced out in the Sweet 16. And if I'm Tennessee, I would rather they had lost in the round of 32 and they beat South Carolina. Like, yeah, not even a question. Like, not even a question, okay? And by the way, South Carolina, as we keep pointing out, we have to point this out, Dave, because you're bringing up the Dylan Sampson injury. South Carolina cheated.
Right,
they cheated.
Everybody.
So, everyone.
Brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. Let's go ahead and put on our poll question the top seasons. Kind of go recent here if we can. I know you go back to the 50s. Good Lord. But let's.
No, I'm going to have this 2022 or 2024. What was a better Tennessee football season? Because Dave's trying to say.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard heating and air conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
There's your fair.
We have a new daily comment now. Nathaniel says, pull that. All right, so
pull that. You should
right
get an
now.
element for that. Pull that. Pull that.
Better season 2022 or 2024 for Tennessee's football team. Now, hot or cold brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Let's take a look at some of the other years. It's so weird to say years when you teach yourself as a writer to say seasons, because the football season goes over the course of 2 years. So it's grammatically incorrect to put years. So it's weird saying it like this to me. But anyway, I'll move forward. Caleb, hot or cold? If you go hot,
that's hot.
Then you're saying this team deserves to be in the conversation of greatest seasons ever. And if you say it's cold, it's not. And certainly Dylan saying that was passive-aggressive ad placement cutting off Caleb. I love it, Dave. Thank you. All right. So, Caleb, let's look at this first season. You pulled up some great seasons, some memorable seasons, but some are clearly better than the others.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back. So now that we've gotten out of the Danny White era, basically, we will go back to 2007, 2008 first. Now, 2007, 2008, Tennessee became the first program in history to have the football team, the women's basketball team, and the men's basketball team all finish in the top 12. The men's basketball team reached number 1, won the SEC regular season title. The football program won the SEC East, and if not for an Ainge pick six, goes and wins the SEC championship against LSU. And also, John Chavis couldn't figure out Ryan Perrilloux because John Chavis and backup quarterbacks go together like oil and water. And so, but still had them in the running. And then the Lady Vols, Candace Parker's last year, won the national title. The problem is baseball was really bad during that time with Todd Riley.
Yeah.
But this honestly, Dave, we just talked about it. Even with Lady Vols, I know you look at them kind of similar because they're not revenue producing sports, but to the Tennessee fan base, isn't baseball significantly below women's basketball?
That is an interesting question we might tackle tomorrow. I don't know that it is. I would have definitely said it was before they went through Holly, and they went through what's her
Kelly
name?
Harper.
Kelly Harper. Daniel says, what athletic department is in better shape than Vols currently, Dave and Caleb? I don't know of anyone. I would say comparable would be Alabama.
Alabama's got a very good athletic director in Greg Byrne.
Yeah, and I don't know what their women's basketball team's doing, the Lady Crimson Tide. I don't know what they're doing exactly, but I do know that they've got a very good men's basketball coach. They've got a very good football coach, I believe, and they've got a baseball team that was right up at the top of the ranking. So I'd say Alabama's comparable.
Yeah, they are. And also they actually have a really, really good softball program too, funny enough. And they're building a new basketball arena. Alabama's doing really well, guys.
They have a fantastic cheerleading program as well.
Do they really?
That's why Todd Kelly's sister went to Alabama instead of Tennessee, because they do the flippy stuff. Like Tennessee's cheerleaders, if you ever notice, they just go, yay, yay.
Tennessee's cheerleaders suck. Like, I'm just going to say.
Oh, the YouTube decorum right here. All right. What other years we got?
All right, now we got to go back to
Super Mace here. Hit like and subscribe.
Yes.
We got to go back to the greatest year, and this is the greatest athletic year in Tennessee history, and there's really not a debate, and it's 1998-99.
That's hot.
I'm sorry. It is you had now, funny enough, only one national champ because the Lady Vols didn't win the national title that year. They got upset in the Elite Eight. But it's still Lady Vols, Shamika Holdsclaw era. Men's basketball finishes in the top 25, even though they lose to Southwest Missouri State by 30 in the second round of the NCAA tournament. They still finish in the top 25. And football wins a national championship. And that's like worth 50% of your score when ranking something, right? A football national title.
Yes. If it's graded on a curve, that's a good 50%. All right. What other ones? Let's run through some other seasons. And I want to share something. Who was the coach that was right before Tony Vitello?
Oh, Dave Serrano.
Yeah. I want to share something about Dave Serrano you probably don't know. And Tennessee's success nowadays can be attributed to some of the things that Dave Serrano did. Go ahead.
He's a really good dude. Yeah. Okay. So then the next one. All right. So 98-99 stands out, but we got to give credit to 97-98. So just for people who don't remember 97-98, the football team won the SEC championship. That's got to count for something, right?
Amen. It does to me. It doesn't to you.
It does to me. No, it absolutely does to me. This is 97. It's not now. Okay. Back then the SEC title mattered. That year, men's basketball went to their first NCAA tournament in 8 years because Jerry Green was just a legendary coach and just a brilliant tactician. And I just don't think Dave shows him the respect he deserves. But, but also then the Lady Vols had the greatest women's basketball team of all time. They went 39-0 and won the national title with Shamika Holdsclaw, Samika Randall, Tamika Catchings, the three Meeks. That team was just unbeatable.
Okay. So number one is 98-99, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So who's second? Let's see if we agree.
I think it's 97-98. I think that's right there. I think Peyton Manning's senior year in football, going to the tournament in men's basketball, which is all that matters, and winning it all in women's basketball. And when you do those three, I don't really think what happens in baseball matters.
You know what? It would definitely be number one if what? The Heisman Trophy Committee, the trust, whatever you want to call it, of which I vote for, if they hadn't just absolutely made the worst mistake ever and not giving the award to Peyton Manning. And I don't say that because I'm any sort of homer. I think you know me better than that by now. Caleb, I want to add this about Dave Serrano. So I was talking to a really good source, well-placed in Tennessee's athletic department, and he said that actually Dave Serrano was really big in cost cutting, which I know is not the sexiest thing that a coach can do, but he saved the program a lot of money. They were able to make some facility improvements that really set the table for Tony Vitello. Almost as if Serrano knew he wasn't a good enough X's and O's coach, so he wanted to find a way to help Tennessee's program. You don't hear of that a lot.
No, as a matter of fact, and this is an underrated thing, Dave Hart took a lot of heat from making this decision, and I give him a lot of credit for it. Dave Serrano, what a lot of people don't realize is Dave Serrano was a small ball coach at Cal State. I think it was Cal State Fullerton was where he was at. Somebody check that. I could be wrong. I could have him mixed up with another coach, but I'm pretty sure he was at Cal State Fullerton and that he got Cal State Fullerton to won 3 conference titles and reached the College World Series at UC Irvine. these are all smaller levels. There was the hire of Dave Serrano was to see a small ball, like a return to old school small ball, could work in the SEC, which is loaded with pitching and power now. Spoiler alert, it didn't, and he knew it didn't. It's kind of like when Steve Spurrier didn't he just wanted to see if his system would work in the NFL? Wasn't he just trying to be like, I want to see if this works or not?
He was just a little bored.
Yeah, exactly. So Dave Serrano, it kind of came clear that it wasn't working. What you talk about, Dave Hart took a lot of heat because 2 years in a row, people wanted Serrano fired, and Dave Hart kept Serrano around. Mm-hmm. And I think he did that because he wanted to see if Serrano, or he kept Serrano around because he wanted to make sure all the ducks were in a row with the program before he went out and actually hired a new coach to build it. And he knew Serrano was doing that.
The show represented by Banks and Jones. Oh, sorry.
We left out a season too.
Okay. We don't have to get them all in, Caleb.
You just left out, you just don't like history. 1950, 1951 Vols. The football team won the national title in 1950. Beating Kentucky, Bear Bryant's best team, thanks to the Great Appalachian Storm in 1950. And baseball went to the College World Series, its first ever College World Series. And Burt Reschishar was on both of those teams.